I have a question.
Uh-oh. What's your question?
My question is, does my gallon start here or does it start at 7 a.m.?
No, you're supposed to drink this much by 7 a.m.
No, it says good morning.
Yeah, because they had to put something.
I don't know.
I would think they would have put start.
Up there. Or yeah, up there, right?
Start.
Like start here. I think it's up there.
Yeah.
There's only one way to find out. To pour a gallon.
Wait, I've done it before. No, it's up there.
Here?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a normal, like when you buy it, you know?
Yeah.
Always like right there, yeah.
That's true.
Someone was literally on the cap.
Yeah. You don't open it. It's like,
Darn!
eh.
All right.
No, it is?
I think
Yes, because yeah.
We had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young. We were broke. We didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome to Win Anyway, our podcast that we are, currently filming. We're in episode number 26. 7.
We have made
27.
shit up.
We literally
27
just
times
talked
in a row
about
now.
this.
It's 27th time we've made shit up.
Yeah, no, these are well thought out episodes. But no fluff, no BS. We sit down and we like to be as authentic as possible. So we don't, spend a lot of time making sure that it's perfect and that, and analyzing and overthinking everything, which, sometimes a lot of you guys overthink everything.
We have never restarted.
No, just film it. DJ says go and we go. And whatever comes out, comes out. Mm-hmm. And then some of you guys seem to enjoy it, and a couple of you guys thumbs down it. It's okay.
We appreciate your thumbs
We
down.
appreciate it. We're motivated by it. It's exciting.
Yeah, you're probably a miserable person, so it's okay.
Yeah.
We know you probably watched the whole thing, took a shit ton of notes, then put a thumbs down. And then you took it to your team of 2 and probably did a training for them. Asshole.
Okay, no. All right. Anyways,
it's true though.
and we want you to win anyways, even if you are that person.
Yeah.
So
We still want you to win.
yes, just far away from us. Anyways, today we are talking about
Why your numbers might suck. Or why they suck. Hey, go to your bed. What the heck's wrong with you? Go to your bed. Go to your bed.
that's Franklin.
Go to your bed. We didn't change our mind. Hurry up.
We
to
are
your
loving dog parents.
Go to your bed. Go to your bed. Thank you. All right. Continue.
So today we are talking about why your numbers suck.
Yes.
So if you are sitting there wondering constantly,
Why your numbers
why
suck.
do my numbers suck? This is the episode for you.
Yeah, this might fix some of those things.
You might get mad at some of these things, but we're going to talk about it anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, it's your numbers that suck, not
Right.
everybody else's.
Yes.
So
So today we're not talking about your team, we're talking about you. Why do your numbers suck? And here's a spoiler. It has nothing to do with your team.
no, probably not. It's probably a lot to do with you.
Yes. All right. So let's kick it off.
Yeah, let's do it. So I would tell you that, first of all, it's important there's a difference between working in your business and working on your business. Mm-hmm. We have learned that throughout our career, that they're both equally as important. Working in your business means you're running appointments, you're grinding it out, you're putting in guests, you're sitting with clients, you're prospecting, you're recruiting, you're doing all those things. Working on your business is looking back, or stepping back, I should say, looking at your business and going, okay, where can we make some changes? Where can I improve? So an episode like today, this is the type of thing that a lot of times, quite often, Ronnie and I do for ourselves, is we look at our business and we work on it. The structure, the system, the processes that we have in place, different things like that, and figuring out where we can improve. So if you're not doing these things, this could be one of the reasons why, before we even start, why your numbers suck, is that you're just working, but you're not working with an outside set of eyes, meaning that every once in a while you sit down, you pull up all your numbers, you look at them, and you go, okay, maybe there are some places that I can improve.
Yeah, evaluate. You shouldn't get to the end of the year, look at your year numbers, and then realize you did worse than last year. That means that the whole entire year you didn't look at the numbers at all. You just were going, working, or not working, or whatever you were doing, and that you should never be surprised. You should know what's going on.
Right.
And this will prevent you from making, I don't want to say mistakes, but having major setbacks if you can constantly.
Getting stuck.
Yeah, it'll prevent you from getting stuck.
A plateau sucks. You do not ever want a plateau. So let's get into it. Number one, reason why your numbers might suck. Let's just hit it out of the park from the very beginning.
Yes.
Is it's quite possible that you're lazy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're not working. It's you cannot go to the office or attend all the trainings on Zoom or whatever you got going on. You could be the perfect student of the business, but if you're not working, you're not actually taking action on the things that you're learning, you're just lazy. You can't expect to get results from doing nothing.
Right. For probably 9 years now, I've averaged on client KTP appointments a week, probably between 20 and 40 appointments a week for about 9 years. We've been in Transamerica's top 10, 7 out of 9 years, probably 8 out of 9 years that we've gotten like the whole pyramid thing sent to the office for being top personal producers, being top base shop producers, after a couple years. But writing a lot of policies.
Yeah.
We got to $100,000 ring on never writing a policy over like 10,000 points. Not ever doing a rollover. None of that. To this day, the biggest rollover I've ever done is like 650,000. I'd like to do some $2-3 million rollovers.
We're not against it.
But we've just never had it. But we've gotten to $500,000, 550,000 in cash flow by just writing a lot of policies, actually working, and then building a base shop behind it, which has been 1 million points for now over 3 years. But you can't get that by not working.
Yeah. And there's definitely different levels of laziness. For example, if you're sitting there and you're going, but I run appointments all the time. I'm just not getting results. Well, are you being lazy on your appointment? Are you not getting, a solid close? Are you forgetting to follow up on your policies? Are you, when you're sitting down, you're doing an orientation with somebody, are you not going through the tedious steps of getting a really good top 25 from somebody? These are all things that take like an extra step, but maybe you're just kind of like, you just let things kind of flow where they're going to flow and you don't actually take control of your appointments.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. You could be lazy on the appointment too.
Yeah, you can.
You cut corners and then it bites your butt at the end of the meeting.
You don't want to call Transamerica and you don't want to pay somebody to call Transamerica to do your pending requirements, so everything's just sitting there.
And mental laziness.
Yeah.
Mental laziness is, I'll give you an example. I tell one of my teammates, hey, I want you to do the training tomorrow night. And then they call me and they go, what should my points be? And I'm like, what the heck, dude? If you're coming to me going, what should my points be? That means your team's going to you going, what should my schedule be or whatever. It's like, if I wasn't going to give you the points, I'll do the damn training myself.
Right.
I want you to come to me with your whole outline and ask me for feedback. So it's mental laziness. Not thinking, not really sitting down and going, all right, what could I get done this month? What can I get done today? There's so many forms of laziness in the business, but at the end of the day, laziness is not going to win.
No.
Your numbers will suck if you're lazy.
Yeah.
They'll show. They may not show every month that they suck, but at the end of the year, over a 12-month period, your numbers, if you're lazy, your numbers are not going to show anything other than you're lazy. You may get lucky every once in a while, but in the long run, you're not going to get big.
Yeah. Your work ethic.
Your work ethic sucks. So that might be number one.
Yes.
Now, by the way, how do you fix that? I think you got to raise up your standard of what's acceptable to fix that. For example, if you're making $3,000 to $5,000 every single month, you're probably going to make $3,000 to $5,000 every month for a while. And it's because you're okay with $3,000 to $5,000 a month. So your work ethic matches your standard. If you had to make $25,000, $30,000 a month, you're probably you would get lazy at a higher level, and you would make $25,000 to $30,000, and then you'd get lazy there. So raising up the standard of what's acceptable, what's good to you, that's something we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the point where it's not acceptable to make $50,000 a year, $50,000 a month. We have to make $75,000 to $100,000 a month. So we're constantly trying to stretch ourselves to that level, to bring our work ethic to that level, to bring our capacity of what we can handle to that level, to tighten up our system to a level that pays us 75 to 100 grand a month, right? To stretch our width to that point, to build our team to the amount of licensed agents that make 75 to 100 grand a month, just to get to the point where we're doing volume at that level. But that takes a mental toughness and a mental work ethic and removing any form of laziness to get to that point.
Yep. A lot of self-awareness.
Yep. So that's number one. Number two, what's number two?
Number two is you need to, maybe you're not processing rejection correctly.
Now, these are reasons why your numbers might suck.
Yes.
Okay? You're not processing rejection correctly. What's that mean?
Yes, because rejection is a good thing. And by rejection, people have a very skewed definition of what rejection is, because people think that just because somebody told you, oh, no, I don't want to, I don't want to become a client, or I don't want to work in the business, you automatically take it like it's something personal, like they rejected you, versus it's not right for them, or the timing isn't right, or whatever. And so by processing it incorrectly, I mean, you're taking it personal. You're taking it personal and letting it hurt your identity and letting it hinder your progress and hinder the action that you're going to take.
And then you get stuck.
Yeah.
And then it puts you in a bad state.
Yeah.
And then you're not as confident on the next appointment.
Yeah. You're out prospecting and you get 2 numbers, and then the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th tell you no, and then you just go home because you're just, I can't take it anymore.
It affects your belief.
Yeah.
And then it affects your action.
Yeah.
And so this is a very big reason why your numbers can suck. If you allow it to always hurt you emotionally, every time someone tells you no, or someone says not yet, or someone says call me back, or any of these things, overall that compounds throughout your entire year. And you continue to carry that, and then your belief and your excitement, your enthusiasm and your confidence and all these things go down, and it dilutes what you see possible in your numbers and in your business, and it affects you. And it shows big time. You eventually stop working. When you allow someone saying no to hurt you, you eventually stop working. It dims your light, dims your shine. Yeah,
and we work in a business where you have to work with people. So your state has to be good. It has to be high. It has to be good for you to be able to get the results that you want.
Right.
And if you're living in a fearful state, which is really what that rejection is kind of bringing out in you, it's going to be very hard for you to get the results that you want.
So how should you process rejection then? What should it feel like?
It's learning how to let things roll off your back. It's learning okay, I'm just putting the reps in. I'm learning how to get better. I'm improving myself. All right, that didn't work. That wasn't a good way to make a phone call. That wasn't a good way to prospect somebody. Maybe I shouldn't have said that on an appointment. Maybe I should have said it like this. It should be a learning process for you. It shouldn't be like a no, it's just people see it as a big no to everything, all encompassing, versus all right, maybe I need to make some adjustments here.
Right.
A learning process is to give you thick skin.
Right. Ariana Grande wrote a song about it.
Really?
Called Thank You Next.
Yeah. So
she literally says in the song, I learned this from so-and-so, I learned this from so-and-so, I learned this from so-and-so. Literally, I mean, that's literally what it is.
Yes.
It's a learning process. Not everyone's supposed to be your client, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there are so many clients that thank God we didn't sign. I don't know who they are, but God did it for a reason where we didn't get them as clients, because it would have been a chargeback. They would have been a headache. There's so many teammates that I'm thankful that when it got to the end, they said, you know what, I don't think it's a fit. I don't know who they are, but they would have been a nightmare. There are people we had on our team that I wish we didn't have at one point. That I wish we would have been more picky and we would have said, no, thanks, next.
Yeah.
So everything's part of the process. But I think once right, that I don't want to do business with everybody. I don't want everyone as a client. Once you understand that it's a privilege to be your client and it's a privilege to be a part of Tenacity, you no longer get offended or hurt by people saying no.
Yeah. Quit being desperate. Quit being desperate and turn your desperation into determination. Because when you're desperate, you just want anything. When you're determined, you're out looking for something specific.
Right.
And that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Just like you said, you don't want to work with everyone. You don't want everyone to become your client.
Yep.
It has to be right.
But your numbers will suck if you don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Because your attitude will suck.
Yes. You can't win with a crappy attitude. You just can't.
Right. Number 3. It's a big one. Reason why your numbers might suck. It's quite possible that you're grinding every day. Mm-hmm. You don't have a work ethic problem. You don't process rejection incorrectly. You're just like, all right, it's all good. Next. And your numbers still suck. And that part of that might be that you're not asking specifically for feedback from your coach.
Yes. I think all it takes is for you. Habits are formed sometimes without us even realizing it.
Oh, yeah. All of them are.
Yeah. And so I think sometimes you end up saying something that you didn't before, maybe on an appointment or while prospecting, making a phone call, working with your team, right? You just end up saying something and then it just becomes part of your forever like internal script. And it takes you a little bit off the path that you were walking on, the right path. And then it just veers off completely eventually because you never got feedback. And from your inside perspective, you can't see where that wrong turn was.
Yeah. We've done good at this, Ronnie, that we go to Dan every time something doesn't work.
Yeah.
Every freaking time we go, guys, we're so thankful for Dan. Dan is the best freaking coach. We go, for us, by the way, that's not taking away from your coach. For us, Dan is the best coach.
Yes.
And we go to him every time. We should do an episode on how to utilize your coach correctly.
Yes.
That'll be good. We'll do that next week. Remember that, Akapon. How to utilize your coach. Remember that, Bang Bang. So we go to Dan every time something doesn't work. We don't soak in our misery.
No.
Some of you soak it. Some of you like to be. You leave
wear it like a badge.
Yeah, you leave white chalk lines all over the ground. You're the damn victim everywhere you go. And we don't do that. We do not soak in our misery. When something doesn't work, we immediately get feedback. So I'll call Dan and be like, Coach, yo, boom, 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 boom. This is what's going on. And he'll go, okay. He's like, walk me through your process. We'll walk through the process. I'll tell him everything. And then I'll have specific questions for him. We'll get feedback. We fix it, and boom, we're on to the next. On to the next right away. How to utilize your coach correctly. Asking for feedback has saved us so much misery. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, think of how many times we've made changes throughout our career that came from Dan.
Yeah. Time and time again.
Like the time when I was on the Stairmaster at the gym, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a game changer for us. I called Dan. I said, hey, man, this is where we're at. This is what's going on. He said, walk me through your process. I walked him through it. He said, make this switch. And boom, I mean, it changed the game for us. It literally took us from $200,000 to $500,000 making that switch. And I know people are going to ask what that was in the comments. But, I mean, it wasn't nothing that would matter to you guys. It was just a small change in our process on how we were doing things. But
that's why it's important to ask your coach, because your coach knows your business.
Exactly.
And they know your team, they know your environment, who you're working with. And so to ask an outsider like us about, hey, like, what's up with my business? We're not there with you. So unfortunately, we can't tell you like, oh, there's a hole in your business here. You have to ask your coach, somebody on the outside, but still close enough to observe, who can give you that,
because we all run the same system.
Yes.
We just have little different minor nuances in the system.
Personalities, yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But see, here's one of the problems with why a lot of you don't get feedback, is that you think your coach isn't that great because you know them. And so you think they're not. So you look at us like, oh, Jay and Ronnie are the shit. But that's not even accurate. The problem is, that the benefit for us to you is that we're far away.
Yes.
So what we say weighs more for you. When the reality is your coach is in your office and they know the real problem. The real problem is not what you message us on Instagram. The real problem is step 1, your ass is lazy. Step 2, you're a pansy. Mm-hmm. Step 3, you don't ask for feedback, because you just don't think your coach is that great because you message us and go, oh, my coach, they don't write business right. And he tried to take 3 exchange legs.
He didn't answer
my phone call. And he stood me up on an appointment. And the reality is you don't work.
Yes.
It's not your coach's fault. Your coach got a ring. They didn't get there by accident.
They did something right. So something that you haven't done.
So going and getting feedback and asking specific questions has saved us. Honestly, I think we dominate in the hierarchy for one reason, which is that we are constantly getting feedback. Mm-hmm. We talk to Dan and get feedback, I believe, more than anybody else.
Yes. And it's quality conversations is not quantity of time, because I know a lot of people will say, no, I spend way more time with Dan. I'm at his house every Friday night. We're smoking cigars. We're hanging out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you're not, you're just hanging out.
You're over there kissing his ass.
Yeah. You're not actually saying, hey, look at my business. Like, give me feedback.
You're Dan's cigar buddy.
Yes. Right. We'll leave it at that.
Which is cool, by the way. You could be Dan's cigar buddy.
Yeah.
Obviously, he would rather smoke cigars with somebody. Or maybe not. He probably would rather smoke cigars himself, honestly. But because Dan is very happy with Dan.
Yes, he's very content.
Yeah. But the reality is there's nothing wrong with that. But getting feedback will save you a lot of misery. Next. Go to your bed. What are you mad about?
Next, your system is broken.
Your system is broken.
One of two things, I think. One, you thought you could beat the system, so you came up with your own, which we've seen happen. Or two, you are running the system. It's just there's a hole in it somewhere. You tweak, something went wrong, right? Something isn't as tight as it's supposed to be, and
Which could be a lot of things, right?
yeah, so many things.
Like maybe your follow-up process with BPM guests,
Yeah.
is a little bit sloppy and you're losing a lot of people. A lot of people are coming in, going out, and you're never getting a chance to sit with them.
Yeah.
Maybe your fast start sucks.
Your team is not all running the same appointment. It's not duplicatable.
Yeah, every trainer's doing something different.
Yeah, so you can't duplicate leaders like that.
Maybe even you run a different appointment every time. Maybe you're handing out weak promotions.
Yeah.
Maybe you're
title focused.
Yeah, there's so many things. I mean, there's so many areas that you could be screwing up. Maybe you're not following up on business. Maybe your net point ratio sucks and everything charges back. But the reality is that none of us are where we want to be. But we could tell you right now, I mean, we didn't get to where we're at by having a broken system.
Yes.
Now, there are areas for us to improve, and we're constantly trying to find those areas. We're constantly getting feedback from leaders that are kicking our butt or are so much bigger than us, and they've been here so much longer, and they know so much more than we do. But I could tell you fundamentally, from 0 to $500,000, you got to run a tight system.
Yeah, because what ends up happening sometimes is that you are really good and really focused, or maybe even favor one part of the system, and so you end up focusing a lot on that, and then all the other components of it kind of go to the wayside. And so I think a good thing that we always do is we look at it from beginning to end, and then, all right, how is this part of our business? Is this good? Do we need to tweak it? Do this, do that, and go through everything. You got to do that frequently to see how everything is how everything's running.
Yeah, constantly. And you just do that by pulling up your numbers, looking at them and going, all right, my point to recruit ratio. How many recruits do I have to do to get to 500,000 points?
Yeah. How many people are getting licensed?
How many people are getting licensed? What's my net point ratio? How much business do we write versus how much business do we keep?
How many the first client appointments are turning into closing appointments?
Yep. How many appointments am I averaging per recruit? If I get a new recruit and I do a fast start, how many appointments do we run on average?
Yeah.
How many KTPs do I have to run to close? There's just so many things. How many guests show up versus how many do we recruit? So there's a lot of different areas that you could be checking in to make sure you're doing a good job. How many people on my team are making money? How long does it take for someone to turn into a net recruit? How many people are showing up to meetings? These are all different areas
things,
of your system that you should constantly focus on. And whatever you track is what expands. So whatever you're paying attention to is what's going to improve. It's probably hard to pay attention to all of those things all at once, but if you build a culture where those things are part of your system, then they will fix themselves, over time.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Let's go. Let's keep going. We got 3 more.
Yes.
Number 5.
Number 5. You think you know everything.
Oh.
This is the hard one, because
death by being an asshole.
If you're this person, you're listening to this thinking, no, I don't think I know everything.
But on the first 4, you're probably like, oh yeah, I already do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I do all this stuff. I'm good. There's no areas to improve upon. I'm awesome. This is the hard one because if you feel like you know everything, you sit in trainings, you're probably sitting in the back row, back when we could go to trainings.
Or you're sitting in the front row and you don't take any notes.
You're just sitting there, your crossword puzzles on your phone, on Instagram, you're texting.
Even worse, you don't even go to training because you had an appointment.
Yeah, because you know everything, so you're good. So now you're on an appointment, make money. You're going to do just things that make you money.
Yep. Selfish leadership.
Yes. Yeah, you don't see the bigger picture. And that's the problem is that, and it's very ego driven. You're not a team player. I would suggest you read The Ideal Team Player. Would be a great book for you to read because you're not going to be able to grow. If you think you know everything, you can't grow.
The problem with this is that the dude who thinks he knows everything sitting right here saying that this doesn't apply to him.
Yes.
Because it's not about him.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So tag somebody
Who thinks they know
who
everything.
thinks they know everything. So maybe they can get a little enlightenment. Just look at your numbers. If your numbers aren't where they want you to be, then you don't know everything. And so it's time to humble yourself and start from scratch. My biggest pet peeve is when we go to an event and people on the team or other people will not take notes because the person speaking is a training associate, an MD. They only want to take notes from people who are EVCs and, CEOs. But it's like, you're not up there speaking. So obviously they know more than you. So you should be taking notes. So hopefully you can be up there and getting recognized.
One of the best, so Mario Bayona, I just love that dude to death. I mean, just absolutely love him to death. He, by the way, sent me the sweetest, most heartfelt birthday voice message, probably that I received from anybody. And it meant the world, to get that from him. But he was looking all cute and sexy with his Lion Star vest on.
Jay's got a crush.
Doing his 75 hard, looking all skinny with his six pack.
He looks good.
I know, right?
Yeah, he looks really good.
But this guy paid me probably the best compliment. And I bet you he doesn't even know that he did. We're sitting in Hawaii and I'm asking him questions about our system because I constantly learn from him. I think he's one of the smartest dudes in the business. And Mario says, he's like, man, I hate telling you all these things because I know you actually do them when I tell you. And it was like the best compliment I've ever received in the business. And he said it real quick in conversation, but he said, I hate telling you all this stuff because I know you actually do it and then you'll go kick my butt with it. Like he literally said that. And I caught it because it was one of the biggest compliments because one of the things that Ronnie and I pride ourselves on within ourselves, not to the world, is that we always consciously remain a student of the business.
Yes.
Like we could be the dude in the room making the most money and we're going to talk the least because I'm trying to learn. I'm taking notes like crazy. When Peter Lee speaks on our elite circle, he even made reference to the fact that he's like, man, you freaking never stop writing over there because I'm taking so many notes because I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn from people making more money than me. I'm trying to pick up things from people like making less money than me, but they're still making money. People that have bigger businesses. And when you think you know everything, dude, you are the dumbest person in the room when you think you know everything because your ego is so big that you can't even grow. And I mean, I don't know. You can't really fix that crap with something. You have someone like that. I don't know how you fix it. If
You
that's
just have
you,
to humble
you're stupid.
yourself. Yeah, you just have to humble yourself, and it's something you have to work on mentally.
Yeah, it's an
because it's a
insecurity
habit.
thing.
Yeah, it's a habit for you to go, I already know that. So it's a mindset shift.
Yeah, you're the idiot on the basketball court that loses and goes, well, it's okay. I wasn't really trying. I was like, what the hell? What do you mean you weren't trying? What are you doing out here then?
Yeah, what's
It's like you know everything, but then you're like, well, it's because I'm not really working. I haven't really, worked
been
yet.
working up until this
Shut
point.
the hell up. Yes, you have. You just suck. Like your numbers suck. Part of it could be that you're so good, but you have such a bad attitude and you have such a big ego that you don't even allow yourself to be good.
Yes.
And so the most humble, coachable, down-to-earth people are the ones that do the best, that learn the fastest. You watch Raja on stage, like he's so humble. His wife on stage, so humble. You watch Olsen on stage. Like all these are people, Penny, these are people that they love to learn. They're constantly learning. And I think that's what makes them so good in the business,
Yes, absolutely.
that they're always a student. So that's number 5. Number 6 is that your numbers suck possibly because you're just too small.
What do you mean by that? Too small?
Like us, we're not where we want to be. I think our numbers suck.
You mean in like team size? Like what's
Yeah, too small. Too small in your thinking and too small in your team. You know, for us, we're at 175 licensed agents or something like that. And I mean, yeah, we're doing great. Sure, we're doing great. That's relative though. That's very relative to I mean, Rich Dolly could not live in our income.
No.
You know, and Rich Dolly's as humble as it gets, right? But he couldn't live in our cash flow. Mylette could not live in our cash flow. So 40, 50, 60 grand a month is great until you get there. And then you're like, damn, all right, let's get to 100. So to me, our numbers suck. Okay. But that's very relative. And so that means too small. So for me, I'm constantly going, okay, remember I just asked you a couple days ago, what did I say? I said, if we want to get to 300, 400, 500, what is it? Remember I said, we're always stuck at like 20 directs, 20 wide. And I said, what do we have to do to get to 40? Do we need to tighten up our system or do we need to increase our capacity? You remember when I asked you that? So I'm constantly trying to figure out how do we get bigger? But the law of numbers, right? So if we're running small, what's the difference between us and Olsen? Olsen probably has 500 to 1,000 field trainers on the team.
Maybe more.
Maybe more, right?
More, yeah.
That could go out and write an app. Yeah, that could go write an app on their own. For us, we have 40.
Yes.
So
exactly.
it's like there's no damn competition.
There's only so many hours a day, and if we only have 40 people who can use, their 24 hours a day, that's it. Like you can't do any more than that.
Raja said he has 5,000 licensed agents. He said if every agent only gave me 2 hours a day, I have 10,000 hours in a day.
Yeah. That's
Oh
amazing.
shit! How are we supposed to compete with that crap?
Right. It's all a numbers game.
But it's not possible. So that's
can't.
my point. Is you're too small.
Yes.
That's why I look at me and I go, all right, we're just too small. We're running a machine this big compared to a machine. It doesn't matter. Talent is irrelevant if you're too small.
Yeah. So you got to get bigger. And I think the first step in doing that is realizing like, okay, I'm too small.
Yep.
Where do I need to get? What's the next level? Because obviously for us, we're not going to go, okay, we're at 150, 175 licensed agents. Let's go from that to 5,000 this year. We got to scale it. So what's the next level? And it's going to be the same thing for you as well, where you're trying to get to that next level.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's how you kind of switch your thinking on that.
Exactly.
All right.
But it's getting excited about it, though.
Yeah, it's
not,
exciting.
And it's not making excuses for it, justifying, I don't really want to run 5,000 agents anyways. Too much responsibility. I'm not trying to do all that.
Right.
That's not my point. I just want to make a couple grand. That's your ego again. And I mean, think about how many people, a Raja or an Olsen or a Penny or a Swan, how many people are they impacting on a regular basis? How many policies are they writing as a team? How much money are they delivering in death benefits every single year?
Their reach is so
crazy.
big. Yeah.
It's crazy because they're at such a big scale. And if you ask them, they'll tell you they're still not big enough, right? Not because they're dissatisfied income-wise, but because they're dissatisfied. They know they could do better. They know they could be even bigger. They're still hungry. They still want to change the freaking world. You know what I mean? And so it's playing at a big level. Last reason why your numbers suck.
Last reason, it's time.
Time. What do we mean by time?
Time, because I think we're impatient as just a society as a whole. We're impatient. We're so used to having everything like that. And so it takes time to get to where you want to go, or at least on the way to where you want to go. Sometimes, and we've talked about this in other episodes, it's you don't reap your harvest the same day that you plant the seeds. And so it's allowing that time for things to work its way through the pipeline. So if you're constantly working, you're doing, everything you're supposed to be doing, you're going to win. It's just a matter of time.
Exactly.
And I know this is probably the most frustrating one because people are, people want to win so bad. We want to win so bad. We want it to happen faster, but I think it goes back to, we've talked about this before, and enjoying the process.
Yep. Time is one of those things that you can't fight. I
No.
mean, there is an element of time that has to be involved in everybody's success. You can't lose 100 pounds overnight. You can't make $1 million. By the way, not $1 million. You can make $1 million overnight, but you can't build $1 million business overnight.
Right.
Like there's an element of time that has to play in that. You're not gonna, here's the thing: time, consistent effort, consistent, by the way,
Yes.
and then a little bit of luck. All those things play a role in you having numbers the way that you want them to be and you getting big. Time, consistent effort, and a little bit of luck. And the harder you work and the longer you work at it, the luckier you're going to get. But it's just part of the game. You have to go back to the last episode on enjoying the process. And just know up front, it's going to take probably a good 5 to 10 years to really like get to the point where you're having a lot of fun and you're helping a lot of people in the business.
And you
It's going to take some
consistently
time.
work.
Go to your bed. And you consistently work. It's a
Yes.
constant feedback. Go to your bed. It's like an uncoachable agent.
He needs redirection constantly, at least today.
But it takes time, you guys. Have fun with it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't compare yourself to other people that are kicking your butt.
Yeah.
Everyone has an appointment with success. We just don't know when that's going to be, but it takes time. You're in the right spot.
Yes. So keep working. You've got it. Keep getting better. Keep adjusting. Be consistent.
And for all of you wondering, I bought this water bottle. Actually, it was a gift because I know I thought about it. We're going to sell a lot of these bottles right now on this episode. Alexandra Sanchez, who's one of our agents, bought this for me off of Amazon.
So
If you're doing 75 hard, it's perfect.
there you go.
Whoosh.
Drink water.
Cool, guys. Well, hey, thanks for all your support, Thank you for all your subscriptions. By the way, if you haven't done so, subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. You could follow on Spotify. Do us a favor, leave a comment or a rating on Apple Podcasts. That helps a lot.
Yes.
Spread the word to your teammates.
And if you have suggestions, leave it in the comments on YouTube.
On
That's
YouTube.
where we go to get our topic suggestions.
Yeah,
So
by the way, I was so far behind on posting our clips on Instagram. I caught up now. I posted
did it in
6 or 7
one day.
all in 10 minutes. And I turned off the comments because there's too many comments and it takes a lot of time to respond. But if you comment on YouTube, everything that you want us to cover, we'll cover them.
Yeah, and we comment back too.
Yes, we comment back. But we just appreciate you guys supporting it. It's fun.
Yeah, we're glad it's helping. Hopefully it continues to help. And yeah, we appreciate you guys.
All right, we out.